Hi, ladies. Dionysia here, wanting to give you a bit of a check-in and update about the Crete journey. Many of you have seen the email that I sent out earlier this month about taking a group of women from her mystery school to the priestess convocation in Crete in October of this year. I'm very excited about this trip and so excited that so many of you have reached out to me with your interest in joining. I think it's going to be a really, truly amazing experience. And I wanted to take some time today to talk to you a little bit more. There are a couple of logistical things that I wanted to name. One is that the discounted rate for a ticket to the convocation lasts through March 31st. You have just a couple of days left to get in on that discounted rate. If you're feeling called and you're clear that you want to join, this is a really good time to take advantage of that. After that, the ticket price is going to go up, and I think it goes up by like $100, 65 euros, something like that. So it's not a good deal right now. It's 550 euros or $599. So I wanted to let you know there's a couple days left that you can still take advantage of that offer if you decide you'd like to, if you're feeling really drawn and you're ready to put your money down on the ticket. That's a good way to get started. And secondly, I wanted to say in terms of logistics that I just saw Anique Radiant Heart, who's the woman who's first had the vision for this experience, post in the Facebook group for the convocation that if you share a room at the venue where the whole event is happening and there are accommodations there, if you share a room with a woman there, it comes out to, I think, 62 euro a night for each person. So it's quite affordable. Anyways, I just wanted to give you those couple of pieces of logistics, but more than that, I wanted to take a moment and sort of tap into the energy field of what I'm envisioning for us on this journey. You have all of the logistics in the email, and in these new changes that I've just named. There is another change. The dates have changed. It's now October 21st through 27th, which frankly is better for me personally, and I'm hearing that from a lot of you too. So I think it's all in flow and all just unfolding in exactly the perfect way. And on that note, I wanted to speak about the unfolding of it. So some of you have been asking me about my vision for what we're doing here and why Crete, why Greece, why now at this time? And here's my answer to that question. I personally have been to Crete and other places in Greece. I was at Delphi and in Athens, and my experience in being there was that so much of who we were as a priestesshood in those times, when the priestesshoods were intact and revered and held in high status on the planet in the ancient world, not only in Greece, also we know this about Egypt and India and many other places in the world too, I'm sure. But to speak specifically to that place, so much of what we were as the priestess lineage then is available in the energy field of those places. Now, it's good to note that those things got shattered like pieces of pottery, right? When invasions came in and marauders came in and all of that. And so there's also quite some collective grief and pain in those fields. And I have met women who've traveled there and that was their entire experience there. And I've met other women who, like me, touched that and felt that, yes, but more were able to feel further back than that to when we were high. And it's my intention that we're going to tap that together collectively in our small group meetings as we go throughout the week. And that's a part of the intention of the convocation as well. There are definitely healing rituals being planned, healing for the witches who were burned. Now that's a little bit later in time on the planet than what I'm talking about, but also healing and release for the priestesses who were, destroyed in the takeover of the patriarchy, and how painful that was in so many different kinds of ways. So lots of healing rituals around that, lots of soothing of that, and then calling in, visioning the new. So you heard me speak to that in the last video, if you listened to that video. And I just wanted to elaborate on this a little bit about the energy field there. The energy field there is quite powerful. And, the thing about Crete is that it was the last standing matriarchal society in that time of the great changeover on the planet that did not get destroyed by war and mutilation of the priesthoods. It got destroyed by an earthquake. So while, yes, of course, that was painful and tragic, it's very different than, for example, the takeover at Delphi and many other places at the oracle sites and the sacred sites in the ancient world. So that's really special about Crete, and it gives an opportunity to tap into the field in a more pure kind of way, like before all of the fragmentation. Now, if you're a very sensitive, energetic being like myself, then you might also encounter the fragmentation there in the energy field. And that's an opportunity to sort of learn what still lives in you in that way and can be healed and transformed in the collective of priestess from all over the world gathering there at that time. And it's also a place to draw power. It's a place to remember your power. So we're all different, right? And we're all going to have a different kind of experience of being there. I'm just naming to you my own personal experience, the experience of many others I know who've been to that place on the planet specifically, and the potency of being in ritual, in ceremony with so many priestesses from so many places. So my vision for us is that we're going to really sink into that and have each other to move through it together while representing our sisterhood in the greater collective and having that whole experience I was talking about before of, inspiring each other, networking with each other, getting to know what else is happening with priestess on the planet, and visioning out of which we'll record and share with the whole of the school. But on a more personal level, I did want to speak to what the energies there are like. And for women who join in with us to go on this journey, I'm going to be holding calls closer to time for us all to gather and talk more about this, what it might be for you personally to show up there, what you might find in yourself as priestess when you show up there. A couple of you that I've talked to already who are intending to join us are naming that the calling is clear, but you also feel afraid. And I just wanted to speak to that. I think that's really natural, particularly if your being knows that you've got some history there. You've got a past there that has some big, powerful pieces in it. So, I'll share with you that when I went to Knossos, which is the sacred temple that we're going to be visiting collectively with the convocation, I think it's on, I don't know, the third or fourth day that we're there, we're going to go to Knossos. So at Knossos, for one thing, Knossos was built out of mica, so it sparkles in the sunlight. And it's ruins now. It doesn't stand as a palace anymore, but it's ruins now. And so you've got all of these sparkling ruins all over the ground. And for me personally, when I was there, I saw the whole energetic place light up. So it was as if I could see where all the walls were and where all the passages had been. I knew exactly where we went to bleed. I knew exactly where we went to work with the snake medicine. And it was, for me, one of the most powerful experiences of my life in terms of being a priestess and in terms of having visited power spots on the earth, in that it was like power flowing through me. So for me, that place is a very sacred place and a very potent place where I can derive a lot of power. And so I feel that's a really great space from which to hold a container for all of you. So that, some of you might have that experience, or you might have other kinds of experiences, but together we can hold that collectively. And it's like bringing the pieces, the shards of the shattered pottery back together and recreating this whole vessel. And I'm imagining that our sisterhood will be one of those vessels, and there will be others within the greater collective. And then all of us are part of the greater collective vessel of priestess as well, being there in this convocation. So for any of you who are thinking to come, who are first years and haven't done temple dance with me, because we're going to be temple dancing there, I do have a temple dance class online that you can take. Also, you could join Jamila and me for our virtual retreat at the end of this school year. We'll be temple dancing then. So there are opportunities for you to be able to feel towards that and be in part of that before we arrive there. I just wanted to reassure you that if that's something you don't have yet, it is available to you in other forms, and you'll be able to get that before we get there. So, and one thing to say about that is that temple dance is not a performance, it's a transmission. So it's a movement piece that transmits the energy we're wanting to transmit. And we'll talk more about that in these conversations that we're going to be having collectively before we get there. So I hope that helps flesh out the vision for you a bit more. I really wanted to share from you about the energetic space of all of this. Those logistics are there in the beginning, like I said, and they're in the email below. But I hope that as I continue to talk to you about this, you're going to get a more and more of a feel for what's actually going on in this adventure and what's going to be going on when we get there. Okay, blessed be, ladies. Hope to have you with us.